Almost 500 million people are represented at the European Parliament, which exercises power and influence over European Union policy and the lives of its citizens. But it wasn't always like that. With Europe wrecked by war, the leaders of 6 European countries, France, Germany, Italy, Belgium, the Netherlands and Luxembourg, took steps to stop it happening again by pooling their coal and steel industries, seen as the engines of war. They signed the Treaty of Paris in 1951, creating a common assembly of 78 delegated national parliamentarians, who met for the first time in Strasbourg in September 1952, although without legislative or budgetary powers. While teenagers rocked and rolled through the 1950s, the 6 agreed to extend their relationship to the wider economy and atomic power. In 1957, they signed the Treaties of Rome, and not a blue suede shoe in sight. 1962, the Assembly was renamed the European Parliament when these were the new kids on the block. They went on to become quite famous. The 60s saw a pop music and fashion revolution, and men walked on the moon. The 6 became 9, with Denmark, Ireland and the United Kingdom joining in the early 1970s. Then, in 1975, Parliament gained control over spending. 1979, while revolution rocked Iran, the European Parliament became directly elected. After those first elections in June that year, members chose French Liberal Simone Veil as president, the first woman to hold the post. The 1980s, Greece, then Portugal and Spain joined the European Economic Community as it was still known. And in 1986, the Single European Act was signed to make cross-border trade easier, and it gave MEPs a bigger say in trade-related matters. In 1989, the world changed forever. The Berlin Wall came down and East and West Germany became one. Elsewhere, communism faltered and collapsed. It had been looking shaky for some time. The 1990s was to be a decade of change, beginning when Nelson Mandela was freed from prison. 2 years later, the Maastricht Treaty gave Parliament a say in choosing commissioners and increased the powers it shared with the Council. The EEC became the European Union, and the course was set towards a single currency, even if not every country wanted to adopt it. In the mid-1990s, Austria, Finland and Sweden joined the EU. Then the Treaty of Amsterdam gave Parliament more power, which included making the European Commission more accountable. It used that power in 1999, when MEPs, reacting to allegations of corruption, forced Jacques Santer's commission to resign. Also in 1999, the euro was officially launched as a single currency for EU countries that chose and qualified to join it. The notes and coins followed in 2001, the same year the Nice Treaty set a limit on the number of MEPs and paved the way for more countries to join. 10 did just that in 2004, 8 of them former communist states. That year, EU leaders agreed a constitution for the EU. Voters in Spain and Luxembourg supported it, but in France and the Netherlands it was rejected. The fallback plan was to incorporate the most important bits into the Lisbon Treaty, but then Ireland said no to that. In 2007, Bulgaria and Romania came in, and there are more countries in the waiting room. Croatia, the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, and Turkey. While Iceland looks like jumping to the front of the queue since the financial crisis wrecked its economy. All of this will impact on how the Parliament works. 30 years after the first direct elections, 736 members from 27 countries chose as their president one of the architects of Solidarność, the movement that had brought down communist rule in Poland. Europe united at last, but still a work in progress.